Hello guys, hello, and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. I have been really busy, it's been crazy. I've just been playing non-stop for the last couple of days and I've done tons of work. And I've just got back here to Avalon after a expedition, I think that's the right word, isn't it? Or a exploration of the nether to grab all of that nether quartz ore. And that was one hell of a journey. I went really far out to get all of that stuff. I had to go a long distance, and I made note, of course, of where the nether hub was so I could get back to it. And I misread my coordinates and I went 800 blocks in the wrong direction when I came back. I had one fire potion on me, just a few ender pearls, and I just made it back, which was really cool. But while I was out there I didn't even have any close calls, didn't hit any pigmen or ghasts, and yeah, we've got all of that nether quartz now, so we can put that to use and build ourselves some comparators at some point. And I'm not sure what else they're used for yet, but the main reason I went out to get them is because they're going to be adding some new blocks to the game which look really cool. If you go on Twitter and check out Jeb's Twitter account, he tweeted a picture of some of the new textures he's come up with. They kind of look like marbles, so I wanted to stockpile on the nether quartz because yeah, they look really nice and I can't wait to use them. But as well as that, I've been working on the witch farm. It is now finished to some extent. Everything works, I think. I just need to test it. And I've also been half slabbing and doing lots of caving. And you know what? Let's cut this bit out. I'm going to get over there and continue recording. So here we are. Still waiting for it to load. It looks like it hasn't loaded the other side of that, but you can see it's finished. And I asked for people to help out, and lots of people said to check out JL2579, and I went and checked out their latest witch farm design, and it was brilliant. This is exactly what I was looking for, so I guess I can explain to you guys how it works. And basically what we have is an AND gate, and the AND gate is between the tripwire and then this clock, which is why the redstone is flashing, and that's at the back there. So when the tripwire and the clock is activated, this piston is extended downwards and the signal can pass into this in front of it. So the trick is to make the signal that blinks, that being the timer on either side, always different. So when it's on this side, it's off on that one. And then this way, when something spawns and it activates the tripwire, it means while the tripwire is activated that the pistons are going to extend on alternates. And I'd like to give you an example of that, so I'm just going to hop up there. And if I stand here, I'm not going to fall through. Oh, apparently I can fall through. Well, you can take my word for it, that works. And then down the bottom here you can see that I've set up a hopper just temporarily to collect all of these drops. Now the thing that I'm concerned about is the bones and the arrows. I want to know how they got in there, because I don't think that witches drop those, and yet there's some in there, which makes me think skeletons have spawned. So I was thinking about it, and spiders can spawn up there too. That's saying if I build it wrong. And there's no string down there. There is gunpowder, which can drop from creepers, but rotted flesh, there's none of that. So I don't know what's going on with the bones and arrows. But basically what happened was I had to move the top floor up by one, and I couldn't remember. Oh, that's great. An example of it working right there for you. So the top floor, I couldn't remember if it was either too high or too low, but basically I had to move it up by one block. So I checked with JL and he said it was fine to put it there. I checked the coordinates, and apparently wherever the witches' huts spawn, they spawn at the same height, so you can always tell where these platforms are. And you know what, I've just remembered how it was that I tested this before, so let's do that quickly. It's real simple. If you put a half slab there, oh no, one block up, and then stand on both, then you're not going to fall through. And there you go, there's a perfect example of how it works. So if anything's standing on there, it's just going to fall through. So I'm getting all jumbled up here. What I was talking about was that possibly other mobs could spawn on the top floor. That was my concern, and I'm yet to see some witches spawn up there. And if it turns out that other mobs can spawn on the top, then, well, it means that I've got to dismantle all of this and move it down by one block. But I checked it with JL, and he knows his stuff, so I'm going to assume that's correct. And yeah, that's what I've been up to. I've been half slabbing over in this direction where the world hasn't loaded, so let's move over here and have a look. And I've also been doing a ton of caving, and I mean a ton. I do it quite slow though, because I make sure that I spam light everywhere and get everything lit. And I also remove all of the wood out of mine shafts. I found a lot of those. I found some zombie spawners and cave spider spawners as well. And so I've just been doing a lot of off-camera playing. You can see that I've put some half slabs down in this area over here as well. And that's about all that I've been up to. Doesn't take long to tell you, but it's been many hours of invested time. So when I was on my exploration of the nether looking for some nether quartz, I got a really good view of the lava lake the other side of this nether pyramid, and I tell you what, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was. I reckon if you were to go into the middle of it, it'd kind of be like a perimeter. You wouldn't be able to see too much netherrack around you for quite some distance. So I thought it was a good place to build a nether farm, and now with the hoppers I'd be more inclined to build one because it would kind of be semi-automatic. You could have hoppers at the bottom, the pigmen will fall onto it and their items would automatically get sucked in. But the thing about that is it would kind of be like an AFK setup because you'd have to be in the nether for it to work, and there's not too much that I want to do in the middle of a lava lake, as you can imagine, so it'd kind of be a case of logging in and heading over there to farm the pigmen. But the cool idea that I had was to mirror what we have on this side on that side over there. So we'd have a ladder leading up to the top, would have an opening like this, and then we'd have another nether tube on the other side, which I just think would look awesome to have this pyramid with two crazy nether tubes going into it. One that would take us to the community hub, and then the other one would take us out to this nether farm. Now that's no project that I want to start anytime soon. We've got a lot on at the moment. I think I need to finish the witch farm before we do anything like that, but I thought I'd share it with you and see what you guys think about it. Oh, and I've also made a tiny little alteration down here. That track leads off to the side now, and the reason that I've done that is because sometimes I'd be AFK and I'd come all the way down to the end here, I'd hit the trip wire and it would activate the powered rails, I'd go all the way back again. So by doing that, when I come this way, it's just going to turn me off to the side and plop me in my minecart here. And then when I'm leaving the station, I'm just going to go straight over that. So here we are at the amusement park. I've had tons of ideas to digest. I've got a couple of good ones that I want to do here at the amusement park. And do you know what, guys? I think I'm going to take this down. I think the game itself would be good, but I don't know. The building looks ugly. I've got a feeling that it won't be that fun, so unfortunately we're going to tear that down. But it looks like a couple of other people have taken to this very well, and Corellis has built this, his Busharama game, and it is a lot of fun. I played it the once actually, and I won on my first go, so I'll see if I can do that again. We hit the switch here, and then what you want to do is aim as the piston starts to come up, so like there. Oh, bit of lag, but I got it. And again, as it starts to come up. Another one. Oh, and the other one went out. Let's just try this one as well, as it starts to go up, like that. Yeah, so I hit all three of them, but the arrows didn't stay on there for long enough. But on my first go, I got it right, which was pretty cool. We should probably turn that off. And this looks really nice as well. I love the way it fits into the surroundings, and he's put all the trees in here as well. That looks really cool. That's something we actually have to think about, is theming this whole island. I've had two ideas. One of them was to plant tons and tons of trees around the place and kind of give it a jungly feel, and the other one was to remove all of the mycelium and replace it with multicoloured wool, which would be a huge task, but it would look really awesome, I think, if you lit it up and did it right. So we got this little cow juice. Press that, get a bowl, grab yourself some mushroom stew. Now this was an idea that was suggested in my comments. I'm not sure who's actually built this, but someone else has had the same idea as well. And then Red Eyes has his little skill minigame down the bottom here. And again, talking about first times, I think it must have been my third or fourth attempt on this one that I actually got it right. So let's try that again. Oh, that was too much. And again, too much. Go on, just for the video. Oh, you saw it. The torch down the bottom went on. That means I got it. So yeah, there has been a really cool suggestion in the comment box as well, to create like a victory monument for every player on the server, and then everyone can set up a game where you get a block from that mini game. So like I just defeated that one, then there would be a dispenser that gives me a block, and then I can go and put it on my victory monument, and then that way we can create some really cool games for each other and give ourselves something to do. And yeah, try and beat everyone's games. So that is something I'll probably set up in the future. I really need a beacon, because things like that involve digging out a huge amount of area, because I'd probably put something like that underground because it would be very large. Saying that though, maybe having a big scoreboard somewhere wouldn't be a bad idea, and then people can the other things in that way. But yeah, I really want a beacon, and I just cannot be bothered to farm with the skeletons. I get really bored every time I go and try and do that. So anyway, I have been giving it a lot of thought about what I want to do. I know what minigame is I want to build first of all, and I'm actually not going to tell you just in case I start building it and change my mind. But if I don't do that first, I have two other ideas that I'm really keen on. One of them is doing a bit of golf with ice and water. You just throw the snowballs in and have to try and get it into the holes, or we could now use hoppers as well. That would be good. I brought over some nether quartz with me for that, so we can make some comparators, I do believe, or comparators. I think that's how I said it earlier. But yeah, we can make some of those. And then the other two ideas that I've had, one of them is to put an ender golf circuit around here. If you remember the episode where we kind of spontaneously made that over on Avalon, I think when everyone's come over here and built games and it's a lot more populated, it'd be really cool to make a little circuit out of coloured wool that goes around the whole place. So you'd see like Corralis's Busher Armour here, and then there'd be a couple of particular colour blocks up there, and from another point you could throw an ender pearl to get to it, and something like that, like a parkour circuit that goes around the whole island. Now my other idea as well, I was doing a little bit of research, and someone had created this game where they called it Race the Redstone, and the redstone circuit would sort of go through repeaters, and it would light up and activate pistons and stuff as you went through a parkour course. So you'd be actively running against the redstone while it was activating pistons for you to jump onto and jump off of, and I thought that idea was awesome, and I really want to build one of those. I'm just not sure how long that kind of stuff takes to build, you know, because I've got to get episodes done, and I spent a lot of time caving recently, so it all depends. But yeah, enough rambling. I'm going to try and build this minigame for you guys now, so see if you can guess what it is. Let me just give you a moment to guess. Can you guess it? It's not Guess Who. It is Connect 4, and that probably doesn't look too impressive at the moment, but that is what this game is right here. So before I go into any explanation of this, I've got to say this is actually designed by H2211 Games. I was trying to get hold of him because he made this on GeoMine, and I thought it was really impressive, the kind of compactness and the size of it. It may not look very compact, but it kind of is. And it's compact because of a few layout features, the main one being this: you can press a button when facing the playing area. Now that's very important right there. And I actually designed my own one of this. I think I have a screenshot or something that I might cut into the video now, so I can show you that. And yeah, mine was nowhere near as good as this. It also didn't look as nice. I think this looks pretty cool, the way the redstone is all exposed and goes up the half slabs at the back there. And yeah, so this is the bare bones. I do want to build a bit more stuff around this to make it look nicer, but that is pretty much it. I haven't put in the gravel and the sand, which is what we're going to be using at the top. And also there will be a ladder to get up to the top, and then like a walkway with some blocks on either side so that you can right click the gravel and sand on to reset all of this. So the way that this works is on either side you have a button that you can press, and the redstone travels 15 blocks. You can see they're all in line with each other. It goes under there, and then it goes up the half slabs up to the top and goes across to a repeater that you can see there. So when I press this button, you'll see that that repeater will be the one that gets activated. Let's just press that. You can't actually see the other ones, but you'll have to take my word for it, because this is going to power across as well as all the way up to that repeater, and when it powers across it loses its value, so the repeater next to it doesn't have any powered redstone next to it, if that makes sense. And then over the other side we have like a RS NOR latch over here, and the signal branches up to the top to extend these pistons down, which means that if you press a button the repeaters will be going into the block that's been pushed down, so it's like a way to stop players from taking a turn when it's not their turn. So if I were to press a button, nothing will happen because the signal travels all the way up to the repeater and there's no block to power the piston. And then what the piston does is it has loads of sand. You'd have sand in front of it and sand above, like that, and then when you press the button the piston is going to push the sand block forward. Then the other sand blocks are going to fall down, and the one that is pushed forward is going to fall down the middle gap here onto this bit, which is actually turned off, so it's going to land on these pistons here, and then when you hit the switch they're going to fall down all of the blocks onto these half slabs, which will cause them to break, and then the player can go and pick up all of the drops like that. So that is the Connect 4 game in a nutshell right there. That's how all of the redstone works. And as I said, this is just the bare bones. There's not much left to do really. I'm going to try and make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, like I'll add some more edges and some more structure to this, but I think I want to keep the whole exposed redstone thing going on because it looks really cool like this. Okay, you think that looked cool? Check this out. That is looking really nice. I am so pleased. I've been working on this for ages and it looks really good. The only negative thing I can say about it is I think just having the two main building materials, I mean it does look good, but it feels like perhaps it should have another material in there as well. But other than that, I'm really just pleased with this. It's so simple and it looks so awesome. So all of our redstone is still here. It's kind of exposed, but the way that I've built everything around it is kind of hidden as well now because it becomes part of the building that you see. For example, the pistons and stuff up the top, they've been kind of hidden by adding in what look like arrowheads now that I look at it, and a little bit of extra detail. Just put this on the side, ever so simple, but it makes all the difference, and I don't think there's too many places I can make improvements. I was just wondering if maybe some upside down stairs on those bits would look good, just so they have a bit of a curve to them. I'll try that out as well. And the last thing that I just did was add in the glowstone, and that made all the difference. The lighting is just perfect. It illuminates everything with just those 3 blocks on either side, although I haven't seen this with the sand and gravel in the middle yet. Maybe we'll need a couple of extra lights if they're too dark. And another thing that I've added, oh yeah, and by the way, we had those redstone torches going up to the top to send the signal up there, and now I've just run them on the half slabs like that, like we do at the back here, so that's even more discreet as well, so it becomes part of the structure. And I've also added this redstone lamp on this side. There's one on the other one as well, and that indicates whose turn it is to go. We've got the RS Norlatch at the back, which I've actually rebuilt. It's a lot more simple now, and then that branches off to the side, so it's this player's turn. Oh yeah, and before, the blocks above that were pushed down by the pistons, they caused that lighting bug. Well, that's gone because we now got the glowstone. So it's this player's turn, and then the light goes off, and then it turns on the other side. So I don't think we need to playtest this really because everything works. I doubt there'll be any problems when I put the sand and gravel in. And I've just remembered we need to have a pillar at the middle here to, well, with a ladder on it to take you up to the top, so the player can go up there and refill that. I might actually put that at the back because it's more of a maintenance thing. Or I could even just have a ladder going up this bit here. But anyway, what I'm trying to do now is just build the front area, just have a pathway that goes around to the front, kind of connects all this stuff up together. And then I want to put grass around the whole thing. I want to put a fence around that grass so it's separate from the, mycelium, and then have a little path. I think I'd like a windy path with like bushes and gardens and stuff, but that's probably going to take a long time. So for now I think I'm just going to build a basic straight path leading up to this bit. Well, there we go, it is done. I have built the pathway up to the top. I tell you what, I really would have liked to have a little garden here for the path to wind round, but this will do for now. I think I want to put some big trees like we have over here on either side of the entrance. I think that'll look pretty cool. And yeah, you'll see there's a ladder on one side, and that's because I just took it off of this side and decided to put it on the end, so it's out of view now. And what you do is you climb up that bit and just hop along all the way up to the top there, and that's like the walkway to replace the gravel. But now that I've taken it off, I think I actually like it with the ladder on the front there. So I'm probably going to put that back, and I put this grass around the side here as well. There's some glowstone so it kind of illuminates, which I think looks really nice at night. You've got all these half slabs, they've got like, well, they kind of have strange lighting effects in the day at least, and with the glowstone behind it, it just illuminates it, which I think looks cool. So if we go up to the top here, this is where you can just refill the gravel after you've had a match. And in the middle of this I've also added an extra walkway in case you just want to stand here and put both the sand and gravel in. Although, now that I see it, it's kind of pointless. You probably wouldn't use that, so I might remove it, although that glowstone that I put there does illuminate the sand and gravel, which I think looks nice at night. In general, the lighting on this thing I think is really cool because it just kind of illuminates from different places. Like the main bit in the middle is actually quite dark, and most of the light comes from up top and then behind, which is cool. There we go, I've put together the finishing touches, and you know what, I put torches in these trees and I didn't like it and I forgot to remove them, so let's do that now quickly. But all we need to do is put up a sign, and I can't reach that one either. Typical. So unprepared. Whee! I'll get it in a minute, doesn't matter. And yeah, all we need to do is just put down a sign, so connect 4 by Suma. And that looks kind of awkward down there. Actually it's not so bad, is it? Maybe it needs to be higher up. So I guess I might move that as well. That looks pants there, doesn't it? Maybe if we just stand it on top like that. Connect 4 by Suma. Yeah, that looks okay. How did Corellis do it? And yeah, I haven't updated my texture pack. I need to copy over the files. He just had a little sign like that. Maybe we should add our own little post here. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to grab some coloured wool and we're going to put a post here. And there we go. So that is it. The Connect 4 game has been finished. And I'll tell you what, this was a much better idea than the other game that I had. That could have turned out to be a good one, but the building I was building just looked ugly, so I'm much happier with this. It's been really cool. And that is it for this episode, so as always, thank you for watching and I will catch you next time.